I received a call from a client who said, "And please, I really need your help." I'm like, "What happened?" That they just made a payment 2 days ago to a company for a house, and then they can't even trace the house.
What?
I thought it was a joke. So the client sent all the documents and everything, the videos. So I put all resources, on deck, and every other person that is involved, surveyor, everyone, and they're like, "There is no land. No land, fake documents,
My God.
no house."
What?
My mom got a land in Ikorodu facing the expressway. After many years, they started fighting us. It was very bad that they came to visit my mom in the house. Thank God we had a back door. They sent some maybe kidnappers or aya killers, and then we had to escape.
Wow.
Honestly, whenever I remember, I get very emotional. Seriously. I get very emotional about it because it's kind of really bad to get scammed. It will get to you.
Welcome again to another insightful. I like to use the word insightful because personally, this is like a class for me. I am constantly learning with every new episode. I want to commend you for sharing, for engaging, for sending your DMs. It has been really, really encouraging. But of course, we cannot get too much of that. So keep it coming, keep the likes coming, keep the comments coming, and share to everybody you'd want to learn much more about real estate, especially investing in Africa, Nigeria specifically. Today with me, I have one woman that has inspired me so much. Her works, her talks, and everything she does has really been a source of inspiration, especially in the real estate industry. With me today, I have Mrs. Azonobi. It's good to have you here, Ma. I'm happy to finally meet you. Thank you. So Mrs. Azonobi is a real estate advisor. She's an investment expert and also a strategist when it comes to real estate investing, purchase, and whatever it is you want to do in real estate. She is your resource. She has been in the industry for over 7 years, and she is the CEO of HDH and Pearl Limited. Mrs. Anne Azonobi will be sharing with us some scam stories that she has heard or experienced in the real estate industry. What are some red flags as safety tips we can also apply when we're dealing in the real estate venture? Thank you, Ma, for joining us again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so let's just dive deep into the conversation. Now, we know that fraud is very prevalent in Nigeria, especially in the real estate industry. You go online, you see people dragging different people over some deal that went bad, right? So I want you to tell me, what are the common scams that you have seen in the Nigerian property market?
All right. Thank you very much. So in my 7 years of experience in the real estate industry in Nigeria, I can tell you that I've heard a lot of
I
scams.
can imagine.
Yeah, occurring, in the process of buying land and houses or investments. So, but there's this particular one I love to share because it really got to me. The money was huge, about almost, I think, 300 million naira. And this was about, I think, 4 years ago. I was just sitting at the comfort of my office, and then I received a call from a client who said, "And please, I really need your help." I'm like, "What happened?" Said the man was actually panicking. The wife was there also. That they just made a payment 2 days ago to a company for a house, and then they can't even trace the house.
What?
I thought it was a joke. I said, "Okay, you know what? Let me get all hands on deck, and then I would see what we can do about this. Can you send me the information?" So the client sent all the documents and everything, the videos. So I put all resources, on deck, and every other person that is involved, surveyor, everyone, and they're like, "There is no land. No land,
Let alone a house.
fake documents,
My God.
no house."
What?
And then, funny things, the agent that sold it is nowhere to be found.
Wow.
So this was just like the biggest scam I've ever heard in the real estate
Over
industry.
300
Yes,
million.
300 million naira down.
Wow.
I mean, it was just gone. So, you see, scam can be, I think, divided into different areas when it comes to buying a property in Nigeria. First, I will talk about your moneyless scam because it's one of the most dangerous. Yeah, because I've had that experience also about almost 10 years ago. My mom got a land in Ikorodu facing the expressway. We had the deed, family receipts, and then we made a survey after like, I think 10 years. But the land was taken off from us. Yes. Just, that Ikorodu area where they have filling station, before the filling station. So my mom is an Igbo person. So she got the land there. And then after many years, they started fighting us that because there was no money to build it. So we only put like all those
Small fence?
pan, not even fence, pan to block everywhere. You know what they call pan, right?
Yeah.
So after blocking that, it didn't work because at the end of the day, they came for that land. They knew the land, we didn't have money to build it. We didn't get a dime from it. In fact, after we started the issue and we started the court case, it was very bad that they came to visit my mom in the house. Thank God we had a back door. They sent some maybe kidnappers or
That's
aya killers.
scary, my
And then we
God.
had to escape
Wow.
because it's our house. We know the area. So we know where our escape route is. So we left the house. So we went to see the king and explained to the king. King was like, okay, I'll give you another place. If that's their choice. He's not aware, but if it will save you, I can give you somewhere else. So my mom was very bitter. I told her to let go.
Just let go.
Don't worry, I'll make it. We'll have more money, we'll buy house, we'll buy house, we'll buy so many things. So we let it go. Because same in Ikorodu, we still have a house there. Honestly, whenever I remember, I get very emotional. Seriously. I get very emotional about it because it's kind of really bad to get scammed. It will get to you. And because of that, since the day I joined this industry, I made it a point of contact to ensure that everyone who is connected to my page, I let them understand the risk involved and how to avoid it. So when I got this, I was like, it's an opportunity to pass this out, honestly.
Nice. I love it. So personally, I love the fact that this whole experience is born out of a pain, right? So you are going all out to make sure that nobody experienced of course you have experienced. I want you to speak to our audience now, right? A lot of people will go into the real estate, the property purchase market without involving a lawyer or a real estate professional. Tell us, what are the risks involved doing this?
I think I'll put it in a very simple language. If it's more like you watching YouTube video tutorial on how they do surgical operations. And then after watching the video, you go back and get your equipment and say you want to operate yourself. You want to operate
Oh
yourself.
no, that's
That's the way
suicide.
I see it. It's very important for every real estate investor to do few information I'm going to give them here. Because I've told a lot of people it has helped them. And then if you walk through it, it will help you. One, if you're buying a land from a monile or developer, you need to check their track record. See what properties they sold.
True that.
Has there been any issue? All these things are online. You will see, you will know.
Yes, because people always talk.
Of course, or through referral. Oh, I bought a property from this person and it's good. So, if you're looking at getting a property, those are the first steps. That's like the first thing you need to do. Second, you need to verify the location. Do you know I've seen a situation whereby a client gave us a property to run a search and they gave us a CFO for that land in Ibejuleki. And while we took the surveyor to site to pick coordinates, it was the land close to that land that had CFO. The main land, yes, the main land never had a CFO. So these are reasons why you need to check the documents and make sure you go on site, let the surveyor go on site and make sure you're using a registered surveyor. I can always go to the surveyor general's office to check if these things are genuine. So you can avoid this if you can do all these things. And thirdly, you want to also, ensure that documents you're giving are genuine.
Okay.
Because sometimes you might be giving a provisional survey and it's not a registered survey. Most likely you paid for a registered survey and you are giving a provisional survey. Of course, if you have any need to make a registered survey, then that means you will be spending double money.
So how do you know that it is, what are those points, indicators that it is not
A registered survey. First, it won't have a red copy. And if you check the surveyor's information, it might not be registered. It will be written on it. Sometimes there could be an error in the survey. You would think it's just an error. Maybe there's an omission on the coordinates. Very small thing that you might overlook. Very simple errors.
Wow. So that's why it's important to go with the
Very important.
professionals.
Very important.
All right. So moving on, what are the red flags that buyers should look out for when dealing with agents or sellers?
First, I think the red flag is when you are being too pushy. I think every agent should come to a consensus, like to start thinking of how to understand the need of every client. Some clients have bought lands they don't need.
True. Yes.
Some clients buy lands and after paying, they regret. Some will tell you, please, I need refund because that is not exactly what I needed. They need a buy and build land. And you are giving them a land that they will keep for 15 years. Who does it help?
But you're tying a lot of money down.
Who does it help? So you need to understand what your client need before pushing out the kind of property that they need, they should buy. So with that, I think that would really help clients a lot to make the right decision for themselves.
When the realtor or the seller is being pushy.
That's the number one.
Right. What are the red flags are there?
Yeah, another red flag is, not doing their due diligence when they have their documents. For example, if you want to buy a property, the right thing to do is you get documents from the seller, whether it's an omonile or developer, get the right documents, run a proper check on it to be sure. If you're done with that and you're okay, it doesn't end there. You need to also check if it doesn't have any community issue.
Okay.
Yes. There was a time, if I tell you, I have a lot of stories, because I'm always on site. I'm always with this client. I'm always with developer, sellers. So the experience was very funny because a client bought a property and though the owner of the property had all the documents, but the community refused to release that property.
Why?
Because some of the family members are divided. There's an issue with that family member. So community is supporting this. Another part of the community is supporting this other side. So after the client had bought the property, we went to the site. We went to the site, and when we got there, we noticed that there was this traditional abali something in front. So when I got to the site, I told the client that, I don't go past this one. We need to go back to the company and then let's talk about this. So thank God, that's why it's always good to get properties from developers. You buy from Omonile, they can't reallocate you.
True that.
It's very tough with them. But a developer who has properties in here and there can always say, okay, you know what? Would you want to get your money back? Or would you want me to reallocate you to another place?
Yes.
Fortunately, the client opted for reallocation because he saw that this place was a no-go area. It was a loss on the developer. But who will pay for that? Nobody. So the client picked the option of taking the new allocation, which paid him off instead. Yeah. So community issue is, I think a lot of real estate buyers overlook it. It shouldn't be overlooked. It should be taken very seriously when buying a property.
Amazing. Thank you. So I want us to do a bit of a role play now, right? So assuming I am a client or just a random person, I walked into your office and I tell you that, I have 50 million naira. I want to invest in real estate. So how do I go about verifying the ownership? Talk to me as a client now.
Okay, dear clients.
Hi, Ma.
Okay, if you have 50 million naira and you want to invest, you want to do a due diligence, is there a property you've seen? If yes, have you verified the location? Oh, yes, you've seen the location, you like it. Now, let's get into work because that's where money is saved. Okay, let's get a surveyor.
Okay.
The surveyor would go to the site, use his equipment, pick the coordinate, and check. Once the surveyor has checked, we get documents from the seller and run through another check at the land registry to be sure that no encumbrances from the government will also authenticate the documents that they are clear and good. And then what next? We go straight to the seller and say, okay, can we buy? Before I buy, what information do you have on your deed of assignment? What's the clause saying? What's the indemnity clause saying? Can I see the document? After that, you can make your payment to be sure that there is no, or just understand the policy surrounding what you're buying. Then you go ahead, you buy. After buying, make sure you have all your documents. The tax clearance the person has, don't leave that aside. Your deed of assignment, if there's a contract, fine. Your receipt, your survey should be registered. Should be registered. And then I think that's that. Then if there's a layout, it should be a layout. You should have a copy of the layout. Even if you're buying one plot, half a plot, please ask for the copy of the layout. It will really go a long way.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Can I make the transfer now?
Please, you should. Don't waste time.
Thank you so much. All right. So all I hear is that the entire process has to be very transparent.
Very transparent.
Ask questions at every point. I want to take you back a bit. You know, when you were answering one of the questions, you said there are different types of scam. So just throw more light on that.
Okay, thank you. First is the Omonile scam, which is very common. Omonile can sell property to multiple people and then at different times, especially when the land is not developed. For example, you bought a land, you fence it, you're not ready to build. Of course, when you buy land, they tell you to take possession, right?
Yes.
But in this case, you have taken possession and the land is still grabbed from you.
My God.
So these things exist because sometimes after they spent that money, they go broke. And then,
they want to.
Yeah.
So that property is a cash cow for them.
It's a cash cow for them. Then secondly, we have the shady developer scam.
Okay.
You see, there are some developers in this business. They know that they are owing a lot of houses out there and land, and they're not doing anything about it. It's very frustrating. I always put myself in shoes of these clients. Some of them work really hard, especially those that work in diaspora. Some of them have 2-3 jobs. I only do one job, I'm crying. Some of them have 3 jobs just to bring in money and then buy this property. Until now, no allocation. It's frustrating, right? So I think that's another scam because most of these developers are driving in big cars. They change cars every year.
Yes.
Their family are schooling abroad. Their children are schooling abroad. Living large. Forgetting that this is
blood and sweat.
Together. That's a fact. That's secondly. Thirdly, we have survey scam. Just like I explained earlier. If you're not in the business, you won't see this. I've seen this severally. I've corrected this severally. When you see that a survey that is given to you for a search or the one you are being given as an error, please go run your search. Go check. I'm telling you the truth. 80% most times have issues.
Wow. 80%.
Yes. Once there's an error in survey.
Wow.
If it's coming from the survey office of General Office of Lagos, what they do is they double check before releasing it. So it's when it's not genuine, you'll be seeing error.
I see.
So that's the third one.
Okay.
So it's always good to get your surveyor to go to site, pick the coordinates, and you do your proper check. Number 4, I think what I have is community scam.
Okay.
Because I call it community scam because after you have bought a property and you don't make a check on that community, you might find yourself to be blamed. For example, a client of mine called me one day that, and please, there's a house I want to resell. I'm like, what happened? After building like an 8-bedroom mansion, you want to leave it. I don't get it.
Wow.
Any issue? He said, no issue. I just need you to go and do video, help me resell. So while I was doing my own check, because I have my checklist, while I was doing my own check, on this, I discovered that there is high level of insecurity in that location. He has been robbed 4 times.
Wow.
At gunpoint. Like they came with gun, they rob overnight. They sit down, they eat food. I'm like, so this man didn't want to tell me, right?
Oh
I should sell it to who? I don't
God.
sell what I where I don't sell such properties where I can't live. How come you built there? Who bought the land for you? Who built the house for you? How come you didn't get the advice on time? Community check is very important. How many have I mentioned? 4. It's
4,
plenty. Let
yes.
me just do 5.
All right.
So then the 5th one that I know most clients even call me and say, Anne, this thing is a scam. Hidden charges scam. There is nothing like hidden charges scam. We call that statutory fees. Let me clear you. We have
Okay.
statutory fees. But the issue is sometimes there's increase in the documentation and developmental fees.
Okay.
So let's now talk about this. Inflation happens in Nigeria
Okay.
almost every 3 months. Wow. The prices of cement 3 months ago is not the price of cement as at
3
today.
months later.
So if I'm going to develop an estate, if I'm a developer, I'm going to develop an estate, and then I've charged you people 5 million, and then I bought cement as at then, let's say maybe, how much is cement? Let's assume 8,000. Then in 3 months, I'm buying cement 15,000. Please, how much where will I look for the money to develop the estates? So you need to put all this. Some client to come here and say, this is a scam, and this is a scam. It's no scam. Inflation is hitting everything in Nigeria, but that doesn't stop us from not investing, because there is money in real estate investment that is genuine.
All right. I feel like I am taking a serious masterclass. I hope you're taking note as well. All right, Mrs. Anne, thank you for sharing so much without holding back. Now, last but not the least, right? How much impact do you think that the fear of being scammed has affected how people view investing, especially in Nigeria?
So I feel that the effect is not good enough. The effect is not okay for investors.
Okay.
Because, every investor has this path they drop for, the fear of not losing money or getting scammed. And then I feel the right thing to do, instead of having fears. Let me share a story of a property that was sold in 18 days. About 223 bungalows was sold in 18 days. I had more than 40 clients waiting to buy. Only 2 paid because of the fear of, I don't want to get scammed. But I honestly, when I saw that I had 40 leads, I called my guys on the road, please run a check. Let's be sure of this before we go ahead. Thinking that at least 10 will pay now. Unfortunately, the property was sold in 18 days. In the 19th day, I received call from more than 15 people.
They wanted to buy.
Please, hey, ma, can I make initial deposit? Is it true that it's sold out?
It's gone.
It's gone. So the effect is not so okay. You end up as an investor or a real estate buyer, you end up losing good deals at a good offer. That's the truth.
Wow.
But here is the catch. If you must
Yeah.
get it right, ensure that you come back to this video, watch every bit of what we've discussed, save it, share it to people, because I can tell you that you will never get any properties that have issues again.
Thank you. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Her last word, I'm going to say it again. Not your last word, actually, but yeah. What she said last. If you must get it right, make sure that you come to this video, because she had shared too many insights, right? And she used this is somebody that has lived the experience. And who is the best person to learn from experience, right? So if you want to get more insights on how to avoid being scammed and also on how to make very good real estate investment decisions, you can follow Mrs. Anne Azonobi on Instagram at HTH and Pearl Limited. Her DM is always open for you, and then you can take further steps for knowing where to invest, when to invest, how to go about it. And of course, remember, in the real estate industry, you cannot be too trusting. You cannot be too trusting, right? So you must go with your eyes open. Make sure that the entire process is transparent. Remember to always refer to this specific episode before you make that next real estate investment decision. That's it on today's episode. It was very interesting. The stories, the experience, everything rich. You'd agree with me. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, use the hashtag. Just make sure that this video gets to everybody. If you have family in the diaspora, if wherever it is they are, this is definitely going to serve as a guide. I'll see you again on another insightful episode.